Rulers are used for many things and help us in our daily lives so much. Before we start, let's go over the ruler. We need to know that the bigger lines with the numbers under them represent centimeters. The smaller dashes in between the centimeters represent 1 millimeter. 10 millimeters make up 1 centimeter, and we will be measuring those outwards. The first thing we will be measuring is a tissue box.
Before you start measuring your object, make sure your ruler is on the metric side, not the inches. Also, make sure you line up the 0 on your ruler at the beginning of the object, which is also a tissue box.
Now that your ruler is lined up with the bottom of the box, find the most accurate line on the box to match up with what you are measuring. In this measurement, we are measuring length.
Now you write down the digit or digits of your measurement. In this case, the length of the tissue box is 22 centimeters and 6 millimeters. You can now write it together. Since there are 22 full centimeters, you can start out with 22 as our whole number. Then, since we have 6 millimeters, we add that after the decimal point because it's 6/10 of a centimeter. That makes our length 22.6 centimeters, which also means the same thing as 22 centimeters and 6 millimeters.
The next thing we are looking for is the width. I'm going to line the 0 up with the edge of the box and look at the other side of the ruler to see which number matches best with where the box ends. The measurement for the width can be written in 2 ways. The first way to write it down is as 12 centimeters and 2 millimeters. The other way I could write it down is 12.2 centimeters, which means it's the same thing as 12 centimeters and 2 millimeters. Either way you choose to do this, they both mean the same thing.
Now that we've measured the width and concluded that it was 12.2 centimeters, we can measure the height. We need to line up the 0 on the ruler to the edge of the box. I have to pick the box up in this case because the 0 isn't at the very edge of the ruler. Once measured, I concluded that the measurement of the height is 4 centimeters and 9 millimeters. Is 4 centimeters and 9 millimeters, shown here, which can also be interpreted to 4.9 centimeters.
So the next thing we are going to measure is the volume of the tissue box. We are going to multiply all the measurements together, which is the length, the width, and the height. And our answer will be the volume, which is around 1,351 centimeters cubed. As you can see here, 22.6 centimeters times 12.2 centimeters times 4.9 centimeters is 1,351 centimeters cubed.
The reason that it is cubed is because there are 3 measurements that we multiplied by each other, so it is centimeters cubed. We will now be measuring a significantly smaller box of tape. We will start out by measuring the length.
To measure the length of this box, we will have to use the same process as we did with the tissue box. Line the 0 up on the ruler with the edge of the box. Then you can see that it measures out to 6 centimeters and 7 millimeters. Or 6.7 centimeters.
The next thing we are going to measure is the width. Line up the 0 on the ruler to the edge of the box, and as you can see, our measurement is 6.5 centimeters. Or you could say as 6 centimeters and 5 millimeters.
After that, we are going to measure the height. With this measurement, we are going to do the same thing as before. Simply line the ruler up with the edge of the box and find the measurement on the other side that matches the end of the box best. In this case, our measurement is 2.3.
Now, just like with the tissue box, we multiply all 3 measurements to find the volume. So, 6.7 times 6.5 times 2.3 is 100.2 centimeters cubed. Don't forget your cubed because there are still 3 measurements we multiplied by each other.
From watching this video, you have learned how to calculate measuring a regular solid object with the formula length times width times height equals centimeters cubed, and we have found two solutions for these two objects that we have measured. The first one, which is a tissue box, the volume is 1,351 centimeters cubed, and for the second one, the invisible tape, the volume is 100.2 centimeters.